In this video, we will talk about database administration. The format of this video is also a little different than the others. I am just using the Premier database for a few examples, but mainly I want you to focus on the definitions this semester, as you can see from the homework as well. So first we need to talk about a view. A view is an individual user's pictures of the database. So what it does is when you create a view, you are creating an additional table that contains a subset of information from one of the tables you created earlier. And what this does is it simplifies data processing for the user, and it also provides a measure of security by omitting sensitive information. A lot of times what happens with views is an administrator will create a view for specific users to use. So when you define a view, what you do is you use the create view command, and then you follow the name of the view, the keyword as, and then the query you are trying to create the view based on. So here's an example. So what I'm doing here is I'm creating a view called housewares, and then I'm going to do that by selecting the part number, description, on-hand price from the part table, and then where the class is HW. So the view that I'll see, and the only part of the data that I will see if I reference the housewares table at this time, because that's our view, is the part number, description, on hand, and the price for only the ones that are in the homework category. So just remember that this is not a temporary table, it's actually a real table. To query a view, you just merge the query that created the view with the query to select specific data. All that means is you pretty much just use a regular select statement and use that view name you came up with. You can also assign column names if you'd like as well. Here's an example of that, figure 7.5 in your book. And the output will display the new column names is the way that that works. You can also create views with you join more than 2 or more tables, and you can see that example here or in figure 7.6 and 7.7 in your book. So some of the benefits of views include providing data independence, can often be used even after the database structure changes, and different users can view with the same data differently, and it only contains those columns by a required user. You can also use it for retrieval purposes, updating data, and you just can't update the data when the primary key is not included. So to use update command, you have to make sure the primary key is included in your subset. When you're using statistics, you can't really update. So you can't add rows to view that includes calculations. So when you're using views, stay away from that. To drop a view, all you have to do is use the drop view command, and it removes only the view definition. So the table that that view is based on is there and it remains unchanged. So creating and dropping a review does nothing to the table of which it comes from. So security is our next topic that the Chapter 7 talks about. And what we're going to look at in terms of security is how to assign users their own username and password so that they can only access portions of the data. So kind of like read access or write access to certain tables, things like that, because you really don't want all users to have all rights to the database, because they could inadvertently delete sensitive data information. To give users permission, what you do is you use the grant command, And the database administrator can grant different types of privileges to users and revoke them later. So once you add the privileges, and you can add privileges of select, insert, update, index, and delete table data. You can also use the revoke command to remove privileges from the user. Format similar to the grant command. So indexes is a way of speeding up the searches of a table. Primary key is automatically an index and not something you have to do anything about. This is similar to an index in a book. Users determine which columns to build the indexes on. You don't want to create too many indexes because that takes up a lot of disk space. But if there are columns that you're going to use over and over and over again for data that's entered a lot, you may want to use an index because it will speed things up. So here's an example, figure 716 in your book, and how to create an index. So to drop an index, all you simply do is use the drop index. And what that does is that permanently deletes that index. You cannot delete an index on a primary key, just to know. So there's also unique indexes that you can create. And these are what you can set like on non-primary keys as well. And this just sets the uniqueness of that. It will actually reject any update that would cause a duplicate value in the specified column. So it kind of is acting like a primary key, but it's not really a primary key. So system catalog is just a bunch of the data dictionary. So basically showing the columns and information and all the tables. So we've gone over some of these before. You know about the show tables command and the show columns command, but you can also use show index to show any indexes that you have, and show grants command to list the privileges and any users that you have for your database as well. So the last thing we'll talk about in Chapter 7 is integrity constraints. And this is just ensuring that the primary key and foreign key relationships are built properly, and that you're making sure things are set up properly and that they cannot break the rules associated with the constraint. Okay. So clauses to support integrity constraints are the create table and alter command. And with primary keys, you can use the add primary key clause in the alter table, foreign keys, and then also the check clause ensures only legal values are allowed in a given column. So it's something else you might look into. So here's an example on using the alter command to set a foreign key here. And as you can see, you can set the values in there and delete from customers. So these are figures 721 and 722 in your book. And just something to note when you get errors with integrity constraints, they often refer to parent and child tables when specifying a foreign key. The table containing the foreign key is the child table, and the table containing the primary key is the parent table. And that's all I have for Chapter 7 and what you see in the book. I recommend that you do read your textbook this week before attempting the assignment. You'll find a lot of the answers in there. Take care and thanks for watching.